Okay. So now let's go and see how to do configurations. Now once again let me start with material master creation. Now you see here, when you go with MM01 creation of material master, you have seen, like, the material number that you may see here in the material field can be generated internally, or it could be, system may generate internally, or the user can give it externally. And also, like I said, industry sector and material type, these are the ones which separate the materials at highest level. So if you go into this drop down, you could see different types of, the industries. You have got around 10, 11 entries over here. How have they come here? They have been maintained in the configurations. Same is the case with material types. You may see here some 20, 30. All these things SAP has configured some of them, and people like you, me, whoever is working on the system, they have developed their own material types. Okay, so let me choose, for example, mechanical engineering material type as raw material. If I choose raw material, look at here, and if I hit enter, you see here there are different views, or what we call it as tab pages appearing. Of course, some of them got selected. We will see how they got selected. But if you look at here, there are certain views which are in some sequence. How is that sequence is coming? For example, when you are working for an implementation project, you need to create something called screen sequence. What does it mean, the screen sequence? The sequential order in which the screens to be appeared whenever you create a material master or a change or a display a material master. That is called screen sequence. Now we are going to work with screen sequence in today's class. Look at this. Let me go into a new session, SPRO, SAP reference IMG. Okay, so here I'll go with something called material master configurations. Since material master is central master record for all the logistic modules, you have to go to logistics general, where you see something called material master. Okay, you see here material master. Go into this, and this is where the first 5 nodes, okay, first 5 nodes up to tools, these are important, or even not the fourth one that much important, but the first 4 nodes are very important for a person working in the implementation project, especially the guy who is setting up the material master. Always remember, if your material master configurations is not proper, all your business transactions in purchasing and in inventory management, they go hanky branky. So therefore, while creating configurations or while setting up material master configurations, you have to do everything in a proper manner. Now let me go with configuring material master. So if you look at here, there is something called quick guide. This is a 24-page document. Okay, I read it many a times when I started my career. So I request you all to go through this document. Okay, it's a 24 document, very useful document. This will tell you everything about material master configuration. What is that required? What do you want to set up material masters? What is data screen? What is subscreen? Okay, so all those things, what is what we call it screen sequence, what is sequence number, what is screen number, all those things you will have it over here. So this guide description or information about how to set up material master, you please read yourself. I will actually go through the configurations. First one, define the structure of data screens for each of the screen sequence. You see here, when I went with MM01, whatever the screens that you see in the sequential order, like basic data 1, data 2, classification, sales, group, or sorry, sales organization data, sales organization data 1, 2. This is a screen sequence. Okay, individual view, you see here basic data 1, basic data 2. This is called data screen. So now the point here we are discussing is structure of data screens for each screen sequence. I'm telling you this basic data 1, data basic data 2, classification, etc., etc. The order in which these views or screens are maintained is called one screen sequence. How to work with data screens in each of the screen sequence. What does it mean? It means you can have more than one screen sequence, and in each screen sequence you can have different sequence of order in which we can manage our screens. Alright, let me just go inside. Define structure of data screens for each screen sequence. Here you are going to see one standard screen sequence, and I am going to create one more screen sequence which is of my own, that is meant for what is that, Nissan group of companies. Okay, so let's go inside. You see here there are more than 20, means exactly 26 screen sequences are possible, are there. But in real time, you may not have those many screen sequences. You may have 4, 5, something like that. All these Z relevant ones, you will not be seeing it. Out of which I will take one screen sequence number 21. Let me just take you back once again to the configuration guide. Okay, you see here when you go with this, you see here not there here, just give me a moment. Configuring, yeah, you see here the standard material master for industry contains the following screens: 0, 1, 11, 21, okay, 3, 23, R1, so on and so forth. The number 21, the present, it presents the screens as tab pages similar to the stack of index cards. Each tab page has a title, for example, the name of user department such as purchasing or sales. It is the screen sequence present in the standard system. Okay, so this is the standard screen sequence. By default, it will give you allows maximum of 21 lines to be displayed on each screen. It is intended for small screens. The one that we use, okay, I mean to say this one, the one that we use is the standard system is 21. So when you go inside the structure of data screens for each of the screen sequence, you have to look for the standard industry screen sequence in the short tab pages, which is 21. Why my system is very slow? What application sets are running? Okay, so now you see here this is standard industry short tab pages. So I'm going to copy this, like select 21, go with copy as. Here I wanted to change this to ZT, no sorry, GN, standard industry tab pages for Nissan group. Okay, I would say tabs, say, come on, something like this. I would say enter. Okay, now you see here how the things are moving. The cursor is moving between, I am not doing anything, the cursor is moving between screen sequence, data screen, subsequent subscreens. You see how it is moving? So it means what? It is actually copying 21 screen sequence and creating ZN. By doing that, it is actually looking at various data screens, subscreens within the data screens, and trying to copy it. End of copying, you would see more than 5,600 objects would have been copied. Okay, so let's wait for a couple more minutes and allow the system to complete the copying of 21 into our own screen sequence ZN. Alright, there was some error. Entry PL010001 does not exist in T001L. It means some screen object has not been copied. So I wanted to remove that particular object and continue with the existing ones. Now you see here 6253 objects got copied into my ZN, right? So you see here I have copied ZN. I'm going to save it under Nissan changes, right? So let it get saved. This is the heart of any ERP configuration, especially for the logistic module. As I said earlier, without materialmaster, no logistic module will work properly. So therefore, materialmaster setup is the major thing in logistic module setup. Now you see ZN got copied. Now you select ZN, go with data screens. This will tell you how many screens are there in my screen sequence ZN. You see here there are 67 screens. Are you going to see all of them? Do you require all of them for each of the material? $1,000,000 question. You may not require all of them. For example, when you are creating raw material, what is the need of sales views? Raw material is meant for purchasing. You procure raw material and you sell the finished product. So why do we require sales views on the raw material? Similarly, why do we require purchasing views on the finished product? Are you getting my point? So that way, the business has to put questions on each of the things and then come up with which views are required for which material. That we will discuss it later moment. But these are the possible views one can have on ZN. You may ask me the question like, if I wanted to create my own screen and insert into this screen sequence, is it possible? 100% possible. Okay, but the new screen, you have to get it created by your ABAPer. That also we will discuss it maybe towards the end of this class or maybe tomorrow. We may not be able to create any screen using Screen Painter, which is ABAP work, but I will tell you, if somebody has created a view with customer owns or customer specific fields, you can actually insert that screen in the screen sequence according to the requirements of the customer. Okay, now you see here my ZN, you need to understand this table. Before I delete some of the ones which I don't require, let me explain you this entire table. The first column is called screen sequence, that is ZN. The second column is called screen numbers or the sequence numbers. You see 0, 7, 0, 8, 0, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, so on and so forth. If you look at it, you can see the difference. Not this one. Give me a moment. This one and this one. Okay, I will not be able to show you both together. You see here, my ZN, which is actually copied from 21, has got this sequence. Basic data 1 and 2, sales org data 1 and 2. Basic data 1 and 2, sales org data 1 and 2. Of course, in between classification is there, which is not there here. Okay, so basically, this is called sequence of views. and whatever you see here, this is also called screen sequence, but this is not the place where you maintain the screen sequence. Okay, so these are called screen numbers, I would say. Next, this is the description of that screen. Then you see here there is something called I guess this is type of screen. Okay, let me check it. I assume it is type of screen or screen type. There are two types of screens possible, as you can see here. If when I went with F1, main screen, or also called a secondary screen. Let me open it here. Where is your Excel file? sapmm@10. It's here. Okay. Okay, so here Material Master configurations. So here the first thing that you will be doing is configure Material Master. My system is very slow today, so I might have to see my IT team today. Okay, so under this we are going to work with few things such as configure material master. Within this, the first thing that you are going to do is set up material master screen sequence. Okay, so in the material master screen sequence you will be working with something called data slash main screen. Okay, additional, or okay, let me put it this way, additional or secondary screen. Okay, these are secondary screens. You'll be working with them, and also you will work with screen status. Okay, something called screen status, screen type, and you have something called title type. Okay, so these are some of the things that you will be working with in the setup material master screen sequence, right? So you see here, so this is title type. What is title type? Title type will tell you whether it is a main screen or a secondary screen. You see, whatever screens that you see here, when you go with material master, they are called main screens. I will simply show you a material which we have already created, /mm03 display material master. This is not our material. Okay, rear wheel tire, I guess, is our material. You see here all these views are called basic, does not exist in storage location 0001. I think it is in 0002. Right? You see here these ones. This is called individual tab or tab page. Basic data 1, basic data 2, purchasing, etc. So the screens that you see here in this these are all called main or data screens. Now what is additional or secondary screen? Additional screens are nothing but when you go into additional data, these are called additional or secondary screens. So this will have its own type. additional screens are having screen type 2. You could see here all ones means main screen. You could see 1 means main screen or data screen, 2 means secondary screen or additional screen. So by simply looking at this, you can say which is additional screen, which is main screen. You see here descriptions, unit of measure, okay, basic data, consumption, costing details, etc. These are secondary screens, whereas when you go into main data, you would see main screens, right? So this is about screen type. Next to screen type is the actual screen number. You see here in which view you are in purchasing. You see you are in the purchasing view. When you go into, for example, when you go into order unit, you take in, you put the cursor anywhere here, okay, anywhere here virtually, go with the F1, okay, you see technical information. Now you could see it here, screen number 2301, here you see one screen number, here also you will see a different screen number, okay. This screen number, the top one, 2301, look at here, purchasing, okay. What is the screen number? 4000. This is meant for purchasing, right? 4000 is meant for purchasing. You see here screen field, because I selected purchase order unit or simply order unit, it is available in the 4000. We will get back to this 2301, what is it, in the next few minutes. So this will give you the exact screen number in which this particular, what is the number of the screen. Next, maintenance status. There is something called maintenance status, because if you look at your tabs, you see basic data 1 and 2 means basic data is coming twice. Purchasing text also would be there. Okay, you see here 2 times. MRP 1, 2, 3, 4. So means there are 4 MRP views. So in order to minimize the complexity, SAP has given something called maintenance status for the various views. It means, which is nothing but grouping of various data screens according to their usage, according to the data retentions, because basic data 1 and 2 is meant for maintaining basic data. So let me group these 2 fields together. MRP 1, 2, 3, 4 is meant for maintaining planning parameters for the materials at plant level. So let me group these 4 fields together and give only one status, right? So like this, you could see here K stands for basic data, V stands for sales, sales organization data 1, sales organization data 2, sales general plan data, okay, sales text, all these things belongs to sales will have one status. Similarly, E, all purchasing related views will have one status, which is E. Similarly, all what you call PRT, production resource, production related thing will have one F. Plant related location L. Quality management Q. Similarly, B, accounting, business related. Similarly, D, MRP relevant. Okay, so like this you have different statuses. Okay, so the statuses is meant for that. Then there is something called GUI status, which above us will use it. Time being, keep this aside. And then there is something called TT, that is title type. Title type means what? Look at here. When you go with the display material, this is what we call it as. What is this bar?
Raw material.
Sorry, Sundarrao garu, వినపట్లేదు, కొంచెం గట్టిగా చెప్పాలి.
Display material bar.
అదే ఏమంటారు దీన్ని?
Menu bar.
Header bar. No sir, wrong. Anybody?
Title bar.
Exactly, title bar. So what is the title bar shall
Particular
contain
material.
for a material master?
Yes.
Anybody looking at the title should be able to come to an understanding that I am in display transaction code of the material master. Okay, by simply looking at this display, what is the material number? This is your material number. What material does it belongs to, or what material type does it belongs to? Raw material. So your title of the application, which is nothing but here called as title bar. Title of the application shall also contain some meaningful information. So there are various types of title bars are possible, in the sense the information displayed here, is it a two-part title or a three-part title or a single-part title? That information you can check it. You see here, when you go into additional data, you will have conversions, unit of measure conversion, units of measure. You see here, this this information, when you have entered it, it would have come up in something like a pop-up screen where you have maintained 1 each equals to, or sorry, 1 cotton equals to 10 each. In the pop-up window you would have maintained it. That pop-up is called as single part title. I'll just go and create it once again and then we'll show you. Okay, so title type is also important. This will tell you what does it contains. The title type, the title bar, what does it contain? Is it contains only transaction information, or a material information, or transaction material and the material type information, or is it only material information? So like that you will have various options. Here you can have one part title, two part title, three part title, so on and so forth. You see here, one stands for two part title type for initial and main screens. 2 means 3 part or 4 part title type for main screens. 3 means single part title type, for example, for dialog boxes. 4 means title type for configuration screens. Okay, so just to give you a feel of how does it looks like. 2 part title, how does it looks like? 3 part title, how does it looks like? I'm going to change this one. Look at here. 2 part title, I'm keeping it for basic data screens. Okay, or okay, you can either have first one or second one. 2 part title for initial and main screens, 3 part title for main screens. So initial screen means what? Basic data screen 1 and 2. So what am I going to do? Let me, ideally I will be keeping only 2 or 1 for all the main screens, but just to give you only, you know, an idea of how it looks like. See here, I've given basic data 1 and 2, the title type 1, purchasing is title type 2. Okay, I will go with, let me see, accounting. Okay, that's also 2. Single part title, I will give it for the dialog boxes, say unit of measure. So which is available here somewhere in the unit of measure. You see here, units of measure, I wanted to give it a single part title, okay, which is 3. Okay, and also descriptions in order to give you a feel of it. I'm sorry, 3, right? Then alternative screen description, right? So this is what the screen description is. Now I save it. I made a small change, I save it. Now you can ask me a question. Why is this guy showing me all these screens? If I go with, for example, you see here, The first thing that I went into is screen sequence. I explained you about this table. Now I'm going to delete some of the screens. You see this each screen, wherever you see title type 1, this is called basic data screens. So here what you have to do is, based on your experience and expertise, and also based on the requirements of the customer, you may have to keep all these views, or you may delete the ones which is not required. For example, look at here. I am not dealing with quality management because quality management is not going to be implemented for a specific customer, in this case Nissan. Then you don't require quality management view. Similarly, production resource tools, if you don't want to use it. Other way, whichever views which you do not require, you delete those views. Okay, like work scheduling, I don't want it. I'm not going to deal warehouse management. Okay, so let me not use it, or maybe you can keep it. Okay, costing views, descriptions, unit of measure, consumption, whatever views you wanted, you keep it. Whatever you do not want,